It is wild when you look at the sheer scale of the clean energy transition right now. We are talking about literally billions of dollars being poured into these massive, slow-moving infrastructure projects by state and federal governments.
Right. It's all microgrids, utility-scale storage, and, high-voltage transmission lines. Very top-down.
Exactly. And yet, while all that bureaucratic heavy lifting is just kind of grinding along, one guy in Sacramento just proved you can make nearly $10,000 in 2 months.
Just by sticking a specialized generator in the back of a pickup truck and answering the phone.
I mean, it's incredible.
It really is. It is the ultimate contrast between macro-level theory and micro-level reality. You have the state trying to rewire the entire electrical grid, and simultaneously you have local entrepreneurs realizing, wait, there is a massive, highly profitable gap right at the street level.
Which brings us to today. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. Our mission today is to completely deconstruct a highly specific, incredibly lucrative blueprint for a brand new kind of roadside business.
Yeah, we are going to look at exactly how the massive shift to electric vehicles has accidentally created a localized gold mine for agile tow operators.
And we've got a fascinating stack of sources to get us there. What are we looking at today?
So we are pulling from a massive 200-plus page 2024 California Energy Commission, the CEC EPIC annual report. But we're pairing that high-level state data with some very grounded business blueprints for the EV Road Hero and DanClaw AI ecosystems.
Okay, so state data meets actual small business mechanics.
Exactly. We also have an agency profile for a traditional SEO group called R-Raid Media Co. and some analytical YouTube transcripts that dissect the Sacramento Mobile EV Charging model.
Okay, let's unpack this, because to understand why this one guy in Sacramento is making so much money, we really have to understand the massive systemic failure that he's essentially patching, right?
Right. And the CEC EPIC report paints a very clear picture of a grid in transition. California currently has over 1 million fully electric vehicles on its roads.
Which is a massive success for adoption, obviously.
It is, but the grid infrastructure is clearly struggling under the weight of it. The report details these huge, incredibly ambitious projects trying to solve this, like they highlight the Watavie 21st Century truck stop down in Bakersfield.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and the CalFlex Hub research out of Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. These are massive initiatives trying to figure out how to manage all this new electrical load so the local grid doesn't just buckle when, 50 commercial trucks plug in at once.
Right, but these are systemic solutions that take years, sometimes decades to build.
Precisely. And the report specifically highlights how these big charging depots are plagued by complex submetering issues.
Submetering.
Yeah, submetering essentially means, well, if a truck stop buys a massive block of power from the utility, how do they legally divide it up and resell it to individual drivers at different rates?
Oh, I see.
Without being classified and regulated as a utility company themselves. It is a total bureaucratic nightmare.
And that bureaucratic nightmare is compounded by physical limitations, right?
Yep.
Like specifically something called Rule 21.
Yes, Rule 21. This is a grid interconnection rule. Basically, the electrical grid operates on a very delicate physical balance of supply and demand.
Sure.
If you want to connect a massive power generation or storage system to the grid, like a huge solar canopy and battery bank at a truck stop, Rule 21 puts a strict limit on it, often around 1 megawatt.
Because if they pull more than that, they literally risk melting the local transformers,
right?
Or destabilizing the voltage for the entire surrounding neighborhood.
Exactly. To go above that limit safely, you trigger massive, expensive grid upgrade studies.
Which take, what, a few weeks?
No, those studies alone can take 18 months.
Wow.
So you have companies like Watavie asking for 25 megawatts of power from the utility to charge commercial trucks, and they're being told, hey, you can only get 5 megawatts, unless you want to wait for an entirely new electrical substation to be built down the road.
It's like we've sold 1 million high-speed trains to the public, but we're still sitting in a conference room negotiating the environmental impact reports to lay down the tracks.
That is a great way to put it. The infrastructure is severely lagging.
And while the state argues about substations, for you, the driver, this translates into a very immediate problem. If you miscalculate your range, or you arrive at a public charger, and the screen is blank.
Which happens all the time.
Right. You are stranded.
And for an EV driver, being stranded leads directly to what the sources call the towing trap.
The towing trap.
Yeah, it is a logistical and physical nightmare. Let's say you run out of gas in a traditional combustion engine car. You call roadside assistance, Someone rolls up in a pickup, pours 2 gallons of gas from a plastic jerry can into your tank, and you drive away in 10 minutes.
Easy.
Yeah,
But with an EV, you can't just hand someone a bucket of electricity.
exactly. So the traditional reflex is to call a tow truck. But you can't just hook an EV up to a standard wheel lift tow truck and drag it down the highway.
No. And the physics behind why are really important here.
Really important. EVs use regenerative braking. That means when the wheels spin, the electric motors act as generators, pushing high-voltage electricity back into the battery.
Right, so if you drag an EV with its wheels on the ground while the system is powered down,
We're completely dead.
yeah, you are blindly forcing kinetic energy into a closed system.
You can severely damage the electric powertrain, void the warranty, or, in worst-case scenarios, trigger a thermal runaway and start a battery fire.
So you absolutely have to request a specialized flatbed tow truck where the EV is lifted entirely off the ground.
Which means you are waiting. The sources outline that the wait time for a specialized flatbed is typically 1 to 3 hours.
Just to get picked up.
Right. Then you are paying a massive premium for that specific truck, usually between $200 and $400 for the tow alone.
And where are they even taking you? They can't just drop you at a gas station?
No, they often have to tow you to a dealership or a specific fast charging hub where you might get hit with another $50 to $150 in dealer charging fees.
So you are easily out $300 to $600. And the human cost is almost worse. I mean, the sources estimate this whole ordeal. The waiting, the loading, the towing, the charging wastes anywhere from 3 to 8 hours of your day.
You've lost a day of work, your wallet is significantly lighter, and it's just an incredibly frustrating experience.
So because the stationary infrastructure is lagging, as the CEC report proves, and traditional towing relies on heavy, slow flatbeds, a massive gap in the market has opened up.
And this is where the Sacramento Mobile EV Charging case study comes in. It is a perfect example of how the agility of a small business completely outmaneuvers a slow-moving system.
Yeah, this operation is intensely hyperlocal. They enforce a strict 30-mile service radius around Sacramento.
They aren't trying to solve the EV crisis for the whole state. They are building a moat around one single city.
And because of that tight geographic fence, their operational data shows their average response time is just 35 minutes. You go from a 3 to 8 hour towing trap to being back on the road in under an hour.
But the technology making this possible is what's truly compelling. They use a portable generator system called the EV Hero.
The EV Hero. Okay, what are the specs on that?
The hardware costs about $5,500. It provides 9 kilowatts of continuous power using level 2 AC charging, and it is basically the ultimate adapter kit.
Like it has all the different plugs?
Yeah, it comes with universal standard plugs,
Right.
J1772, which is the standard plug for older EVs and plug-in hybrids, CCS, the bulky, fast-charging standard used by almost every non-Tesla, CHAdeMO, the older Japanese standard for cars like the Nissan Leaf, and of course, Tesla adapters.
So they can charge literally any EV on the market. But looking at this, I have a major question about the mechanics here.
Sure.
If the whole selling point of this business is speed, rescuing the driver as fast as possible, why use level 2 charging, which is notoriously slower? Why not use a super fast level 3 DC charger in the back of the truck?
It comes down to the brutal physics of mobile power generation. A level 3 DC fast charger bypasses the car's internal computer and shoves raw direct current directly into the battery pack.
Right.
To do that, the charger needs a massive, heavy piece of hardware called a rectifier to convert AC power from the grid into DC power. Rectifiers that can handle that kind of load are the size of refrigerators and cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow. And trying to pull that kind of instantaneous massive spike in power from a mobile generator would be wildly unstable, right?
Unstable and very dangerous. You would literally need a commercial semi-truck just to haul the generator required to power a level 3 DC charger safely.
Okay, making sense.
Level 2, on the other hand, just hands standard AC power to the car, and the car's own internal systems handle the conversion. It's light enough to be highly portable, and the steady power draw plays perfectly with a standard commercial generator.
It is a deliberate choice, prioritizing reliability and mobility over raw speed.
Exactly. And fundamentally, they aren't trying to fill your battery to 100% anyway. They offer tiered packages, quick, standard, and extended for 15, 30, or 45 minutes of charging.
Right, a 60-minute charge on this 9-kilowatt system gives a small EV about 45 miles of range and a heavy electric truck about 20 miles.
Which is just enough juice to get you safely off the shoulder of the highway into the nearest working supercharger. It's a rescue mission, not a gas station fill-up.
And the financial results of this hyper-focused model are just staggering. The case study shows that in just 73 days of operation, this one Sacramento truck completed 63 EV rescues.
They generated $9,387 in revenue, which averages out to about $149 per rescue.
And here's the craziest metric in the entire blueprint. They spent $0 on paid advertising.
Zero.
No Google ads, no Facebook campaigns. So, I mean, they've solved the hardware problem with the generator. But having the best gear in the world doesn't matter if a stranded driver at 2 a.m. can't find your phone number. How are they getting the phone to ring without buying ads?
What's fascinating here is their departure from standard digital marketing. The sources provided an agency profile for a traditional SEO group called R.A. Media Co. out of Citrus Heights.
Right, and R8 Media does great comprehensive brand building, right?
Oh, absolutely. Social network reach, deep keyword research, long-term campaigns for massive clients like UC Davis Health.
But the Sacramento EV model entirely rejects brand building. They rely on absolute digital literalism.
Exactly. The domain name for this business is literally Sacramento Mobile EV Charging.com. It's an exact match domain.
It's like naming your restaurant Food Near Me. You aren't trying to win any design awards for a catchy startup name with missing vowels. You're just trying to intercept a biological or logistical need at the exact second it happens.
By owning that exact phrase, this business removes all cognitive load for the user. When a driver is stranded on the highway in the dark, they are in a state of panic.
Yeah, they're not looking for clever branding.
Exactly. They open their phone and type exactly what they need. Sacramento Mobile EV Charging. The search engine sees a perfect, localized match, the panicked driver sees exactly what they asked for, and the conversion happens instantly.
But securing the domain name is just setting up the front door. The engine actually driving the traffic and maintaining that organic dominance without ad spend is the Dan Claw AI system.
Right. They use something called the podcast spotlight system, and the mechanics of how this strips down audio are really brilliant.
It's an incredibly efficient content machine designed for blue-collar operators, isn't it?
It is. The tow operator driving the truck doesn't have to sit at a desk writing blog posts or figuring out TikTok trends. Once a month, the operator records a single 30-minute podcast-style conversation.
Just talking naturally about the rescues they did that week, the weird battery issues they saw on the road, local highway hazards.
Yep. And then the AI pipeline completely takes over. The Dan Claw engine automatically ingests that raw audio file.
And it slices that single 30-minute recording into a full YouTube video, 5 short-form vertical clips optimized for TikTok and Instagram Reels, localized SEO blog posts, an email newsletter, and updates for their Google business profile.
And the architecture of that AI engine is highly specific. The sources note it is powered 70% by Claude, 20% by GPT-4, and 10% by Gemini.
Yeah, I have to push back on this, though. Whenever I read an AI-generated local business blog, it is painfully obvious.
Oh,
It always starts with some robotic phrase like, in today's fast-paced digital landscape, finding a reliable tow truck is crucial.
Right.
It's like calling a customer service hotline and getting trapped with an automated voice bot. Why would a stranded, stressed driver trust a robotic-sounding local business?
Well, that is exactly why they structured the AI stack the way they did. They rely 70% on Claude because Claude's language models are currently superior at mimicking natural conversational human cadence.
It avoids those rigid GPT-isms.
Exactly. The system is explicitly prompt engineered to extract the operator's actual local slang, their specific anecdotes, and their tone of voice from the audio file.
Oh, so GPT-4 is just used for the structured data extraction formatting, the HTML, or building the schema markup for the website.
Correct. And Gemini is layered in to pull real-time local Google search trends. The resulting content doesn't sound like AI speak.
It sounds like a highly knowledgeable, very active local mechanic who somehow has the time to be omnipresent online.
Yes. By publishing all this hyper-local, relevant content constantly, they build massive authority with Google's algorithm. So when that midnight search happens, they completely dominate the local map pack, those top 3 highly coveted spots on Google Maps.
And while Dan Claw handles the outward-facing marketing, the ecosystem secures the back office with OpenClaw. OpenClaw is a self-hosted, open-source AI automation engine.
The founder, Dan Downey, installs it directly on the operator's own hardware, a dedicated laptop in the shop or a private server.
The term self-hosted is the critical component there.
It really is. It means there is no vendor lock-in. You aren't paying a software-as-a-service company $500 a month in perpetuity. You own the machine. Your customer data never leaves your server.
That's huge for privacy and cost control.
Absolutely. OpenClaw connects the dispatch software to QuickBooks, links to Gmail, and deploys AI agents that automatically respond to customer reviews and qualify leads 247.
It essentially allows a single operator in a single truck to punch entirely above their weight class. They look, rank, and operate online like a massive corporate fleet, but they have virtually zero administrative overhead.
It's an incredible leverage of technology.
If you look at this from the perspective of an economic shift, the appeal is obvious. The Sacramento model was just the proof of concept. Now they are scaling this exact blueprint, launching the West Coast Operator Program.
And the structure of this rollout is highly restricted. It is strictly limited to 30 operators total. But the absolute golden rule of the program, the thing that makes the entire digital strategy work, is one operator per city. No exceptions.
That makes total sense. If the whole strategy relies on dominating local search traffic with an exact match domain, you can't have two of your own trainees in the same city fighting over the exact same keywords.
Exactly. You'd be cannibalizing your own network. The exclusivity begins the exact moment an operator purchases a package. Looking at the territory map provided in the sources, Sacramento is obviously taken by the founder.
Right.
But huge, lucrative EV markets are wide open. San Francisco, San Jose, Portland, Las Vegas, Phoenix, all green, available right now. Seattle and Los Angeles are marked as in conversation, meaning operators are negotiating but haven't secured the rights yet. First to pay owns the territory.
And the financial entry points for these business-in-a-box packages are laid out very clearly. You have the Essential Operator Launch Package starting at $8,160.
Which is pretty reasonable for a full business setup.
Yeah. That steps up to the Professional Package at $10,660 and tops out at the Premium Operator Launch at $13,160.
Yeah.
Crucially, every single one of those launch packages includes the physical hardware, the $5,500 Evo Hero generator.
Plus the business launch system, operations training, and the complete Google business setup.
For operators who want to completely outsource their digital footprint, there is also the EV Content Domination tier for the Danclaw AI system, which runs $2,497 a month.
That tier builds out the city-branded EV landing page, deploys custom AI agents, and most importantly, generates 25-plus backlinks a month.
Backlinks being those digital votes of confidence. When other local websites link back to the tow operator, it signals to Google that this business is a trusted local pillar, cementing their spot at the top of the search results.
Essentially, for about $2,500 a month, they are replacing a traditional $15,000 a month marketing agency.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. They are rolling this out physically, directly to the old-school towing industry.
Which is brilliant.
The official launch of earrescue.com is happening live at the American Towman Showplace in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's a massive event for the industry.
Huge. It's running from April 22nd to the 24th, 2025. And Dan Downey will actually be there in person.
It is a phenomenal channel strategy. You go directly to the fleet owners who are currently losing money and time, dispatching $150,000 flatbed trucks for 3-hour EV rescue calls.
Right.
You show them a lightweight $5,500 generator system that turns a logistical nightmare into a highly profitable 30-minute on-site service call. They can literally walk up to the booth in Vegas and claim their city's exclusive territory right there on the show floor.
So what does this all mean? We've analyzed the macro grid failures, the physics of why traditional towing doesn't work for EVs, the mobile hardware solutions, and the AI architecture that secures zero ad spend dominance.
If we synthesize all these sources, the core realization is quite profound. The clean energy transition isn't just a story about giant utility companies negotiating over substations.
No, it's really not.
It is fundamentally about agile, hyper-local entrepreneurs. It is about individuals utilizing highly portable hardware, targeted AI, and exact match digital real estate to solve immediate, painful problems on the ground vastly faster than traditional infrastructure can react.
I think that's exactly why you care about these deep dives. You don't just want the headline that EV adoption is up.
Right.
You want to see the underlying economic mechanics. You want to understand the exact blueprint of how someone looks at a macro problem like grid limitations and range anxiety and engineers a micro solution that generates nearly 10 grand in 2 months without spending a dime on advertising.
It is the democratization of energy delivery and digital authority bundled into the back of a pickup truck. But this raises an important question, and it is a thought I want to leave you with from the sources.
Okay.
We explored the sheer efficiency of absolute digital literalism, naming your company exactly what people search for, like Sacramento Mobile EV Charging.
The ultimate local SEO hack.
Yes. But the sources refer to this specific strategy as the descriptive cage because it works flawlessly for day one. It captures the panicked driver perfectly.
Right, but what happens on day two?
Exactly. When this hyper-specialized, hyper-local business inevitably succeeds and wants to expand to a neighboring county, or what if battery chemistry evolves rapidly and they want to pivot from mobile charging to mobile battery swapping? Does their perfectly optimized, geographically locked brand name actually become a cage that prevents them from scaling beyond their initial blueprint?
Oh, that's a fascinating paradox. You build the perfect box to capture the market, but then you are entirely trapped inside it.
Exactly. And projecting this trend forward, will these highly specialized tech rescue teams, armed with self-hosted AI servers and portable high-voltage generators, eventually replace the generalist roadside tow truck entirely?
That is definitely something to chew on the next time you see a massive flatbed idling on the shoulder of the highway. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep looking closely at the systems around you and keep questioning how the economic mechanics of the world are really working right under our noses.